Hello everyone, today we are talking about General Adaptation Syndrome, which is quite possibly the most important law of training. So let's dive right in. So, General Adaptation Syndrome is how our body handles all kinds of stress, not just physical, but also mental. Alright, and it works in 3 distinct stages, which we are going to go over in detail. Alright, and it's also the metric in training that we use for rest, alright, because you have to be aware of General Adaptation Syndrome to be able to actually accurately recover from your training. And as previously said, it is one of the most important laws because it dictates so much of what you can do in a span of time. So, it has 3 stages: alarm, resist, and exhaust. Okay, so let's go over the alarm stage first. This is your fight or flight response, alright? When you're about to do something, you're like, am I going to go and confront it, or am I going to run away? Alright, and it is meant to protect you from danger, alright? Which makes sense. Your body has many systems in place for you to say, is this dangerous? Is it counterintuitive to my goals, which your goals are to live, to prosper? And if it thinks so, you're going to go, nope, I have to do something. Alright? It's when your heart rate kicks in, your instincts go ahead, are going to overdrive, and you're making decisions on the spot. Alright? Now the resist stage, this is what comes next. Your body is done going ahead and being alarmed, and now it's trying to normalize. Alright? It's trying to get back to normal. It's also where your body adapts. Okay? It'll go ahead, it'll try to slow your heart rate back down to normal. It'll go ahead and do whatever it has to in order to get you back to normal. And you will physiologically change depending on the type of stress imposed upon you. Okay? Because your body does not want to change. It doesn't want to change under any circumstance. It wants to be normal. And this comes to the exhaust phase. Alright? Because you can only undergo so much stress until you've gone too far. Alright? Because eventually you're going to wear yourself out and your body's going to be at its weakest. And then you must rest, because you have to. There's no other way to go ahead and get out of this stage unless you rest. Because your body is going to go ahead, all its systems are going to be shot. Your immune system is going to be lowered, so you're going to be more prone to getting sick. You're not going to go ahead and be able to lift as much weight if you're training. Exhaust is the result of overtraining. Okay? In terms of exercise, at least, that's what it is. Now, the reason why you have to rest is otherwise you're going to stay in the stage, and it's just going to get worse. Alright? And that's what a lot of people tend to do, is when they get really hung up on the training, they'll overtrain. And then they'll try to rest for a bit, but they don't really know how long they have to rest. So then they'll just go ahead and they'll say, no, okay, well I rested enough, I think, so now I have to get right back into it. And they go ahead and they put themselves further and further and further into the hole. Alright? Because they don't know themselves. So here's a few facts to consider. General Adaptation Syndrome occurs on a micro, meso, and macro level. And if you don't know what those are, that means the tiniest level, the medium level, and then the highest level. Okay? And this is why periodization is so important. And it happens in all instances of stress. Okay? It is, as I said before, it is mental stress and physical stress. But it can also be emotional stress. Alright? So how do we apply this to training? Right? You have to make every rep, set, and workout matter, alright? Because gas affects all of them. Have you ever gone ahead, I'm sure you've had to have gone ahead and done a set where you've gone ahead and you've done so many different exercises, and eventually you start to go ahead and you get tired and exhausted, and eventually your body just stops, alright? That's considered to failure, alright? Well, we could consider that gas, okay? The General Adaptation Syndrome, alright? Otherwise known as gas. That's what it's usually called, for short. So, when you go ahead and your body's burnt out, you have to rest. There's no other way to go ahead and allow yourself to be able to do another set again. But if you don't know how long you should rest, you're not going to go and be able to do as well as you did with the previous set. And that's why most people, they go ahead and they go to failure with one set, and they're like, okay, they rest for some predetermined amount of time, because that's just what they're following, and they go ahead and they do another set, and then what? Then they do worse. And then suddenly they're like, oh no, it's not working, or something to that effect. Alright, so here's how to proactively use the gas principle. I want you to look over your workout history. I want you to Because if you're not measuring everything, you should be. You need to measure your rest times. You need to measure how long it takes you to do a set. You need to measure how much weight you're doing at all times. I want you to look at it. You need to look at the broad spectrum. And you have to measure your recovery time at all levels, the micro, meso, and macro levels. Alright, because all your training should be in blocks. It should be in tiny blocks that fit into bigger boxes, which fit into a giant box. That is the entirety of your training regimen. Alright? And you have to measure your recovery time for each, because your recovery times for each of them are going to be different. Alright? Next, you're going to have to choose your goal. And then, of course, you're going to have to use the zigzag principle. And if you don't know what that is, go ahead, look for it, you'll find it. Alright? I made a video exclusively about it, and it applies to this just as well. That is what the zigzag principle is based off of, is this principle, the gas principle. Alright? And having a goal is important, because having a goal lets you break it up into tiny blocks. And once you reverse engineer it like that, it makes it far more attainable. Now, if you're interested in this whole more individual approach to fitness and exercise, alright, then I have a free class for you. Okay? It's going to show you a story that is very familiar to either you or someone you know, probably. But I'm going to go ahead and show you something different. I'm going to show you how you can have a happy ending. So, go ahead, click the link in the comment section, like, share, follow, do all of that good stuff, and I will see you next time.